Hey, we're going to go ahead and do on practice sheet number 1 of balancing chemical equations. We're going to do problem number 7. So this is how we do problem number 7. We'll take it slow all the way through, and hopefully it helps you out with understanding how to do or how to balance chemical equations from the word problem. So the first thing we have to do is read the equation. Sodium sulfate reacts with calcium nitrate to produce sodium nitrate and calcium sulfate. So we need to go ahead and write those things down. So we start off with sodium sulfate, and we need to know the charges of both sodium and sulfate. Now sodium, if I look at the periodic table, sodium is in column 1A, so we know that its charge is +1. Okay. The also thing about it is we know that it's monoatomic. So if we go to the monoatomic ion sheet, we know that sodium is right here. It's a +1. Now, the other question that we were looking for was sulfate. Okay, sulfate, it ends in 8. Because it ends in 8, that means it's a polyatomic ion sheet. So we're going to pull up our polyatomic ion sheet right here, and we're going to look for sulfate. So if I go down here and I find sulfate, it is right here, and it is SO4 with a 2-. So we'll go ahead and get back out of that, go back to our problems, and we know that this was a +1 and a 2-. So they don't cancel, so we're going to crisscross, and we're going to end up with sodium with 2 of them and 1 sulfate. So let's go ahead and just write that down. So we're going to have Na, and then we're going to have a subscript of a 2. And then we're going to have sulfate, and if you remember what that was SO, and then a subscript of 4. So there's sodium sulfate. Now that is going to react with calcium nitrate. Now calcium, if we look at our periodic table, is in column 2A, so it's a +2 charge. Okay, or if I look at my monoatomic sheet, we can see calcium is right here. It's a +2. I would suggest that you know where this page right here is at. Okay, once we go to that, we got to look at nitrate. It ends in 8, so that means we have to go to our polyatomic ion sheet. So let's go to our polyatomic ion sheet, which is right here, and let's find nitrate. Nitrate is right there. So it is NO3 and a -1. Okay, so we can go ahead and put that in there. We have calcium, Ca is calcium. That was a +2. My nitrate was a -1, so we're going to crisscross, and I only need 1 calcium. But I have to have nitrate, which is NO3. And one of the things is that I always like to do, I always like to double check this. Okay, so I need that, but I need 2 of these. So we're going to put this in parentheses before I double check it, because I think I'm correct, but we'll see. And we're going to do that, and we're going to put a subscript of the 2, and then put our arrow in. So there's our arrow right there. And so now we're going to go ahead and go back to our polyatomic ion sheet to double check. Always love to double check. Nitrate was right here. It's NO3 -1. Okay, so because it's NO3 -1, I need 2 of them to cancel out the +2 of the calcium. So now we're going to, it produces, so this is yields or produces sodium nitrate. So it's going to be sodium nitrate. Now, if you remember, over here, sodium was a +1. So we're going to put Na. And then nitrate is NO3. And sodium was a +1. Nitrate was a +1. So again, if I'm looking at my sheets, sodium +1. Look at my other sheet, nitrate -1. So they automatically cancel each other out. And then we're going to have calcium, which is Ca, and then SO4. And both of them were plus and -2. So a +2 and a -2, so we're going to have SO4. So there is our skeleton equation. You should know how to figure out that skeleton equation with the nomenclature that you already know. If not, go back to the rules, look through it, and figure it out. Because on the assessment, I am not going to be able to help you out. You have to be able to do it. If you can't do it, then you're going to have problems with that. Now we're going to go ahead and balance. So how are we going to balance these? We are going to go ahead and put all the things that we have down here. But one of the things is we always said we're going to keep the polyatomic ions together. So we're going to put our Na, we'll tab over to the center here. Okay. And we're going to put our sodium. And then we're going to go at our next one is going to be our calcium right here. So we're going to put C, oops, not that. We're going to put our Ca down here, Ca. And then we're going to do our sodium over here. So we're going to do our next one will be our sulfate. So SO4. And then we're going to do our nitrate. Okay, so we're going to get over there. And we're going to NO3. So we have all three things, all four things. So we have our sodium, our calcium, our sulfate, and our nitrate. So how many each ones do we have? Well, on this side, sodium is only right there, so we have 2. Calcium we have right here, so we only have 1. Our sulfate is over here, and we only have 1 of those. Okay, and then our nitrate we have right here, and we have 2 nitrates. Okay, so we're going to put a 2 there. And we go to the other side. I have 1 sodium right there, so we're going to put a 1 right here. For our calcium, I have it over there, so we only have 1, so we're going to put 1 right there. Our sulfate is right here, we only have 1 of those. And we only have 1 nitrate, which is right there. So we're going to start off by doing our sodium. We said we save the polyatomic ions to the end because a lot of times they work out. So in order to put that here, we're going to put a number right there, and that's going to be a 2. So if I put a 2 right there, that means I have 2 sodiums. So now I have 2 sodiums, but I also have 2 nitrogens. And I look at that, I go, okay, equal 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. Are we balanced? Let's go back and double check up here. 2 sodiums, 2 sodiums. 1 calcium, 1 calcium. 1 sulfate, 1 sulfate. Because there's no number here, right? And then nitrate, I have 2, and then I have this 2. So it means I have this nitrate 2 times. So we are balanced. So what is the molar ratio? The molar ratio is going to be 1 to 1 to 2 to 1. So we're going to go 1 to 1 to 2 to 1. And as always, we look at this number right here and we say, can I reduce it? Because 1 is the smallest number, we can't reduce it. So we're going to go ahead and make it bold, and then we're going to go ahead and highlight it. And there we go. There's our molar ratio. Our balanced chemical equation is up here. You don't have to put the 1s in. You can if you want to. It might make it a little bit easier to understand when you're using the molar ratio. So there we go. Question number 7. Hopefully it helped you out. And as always, Nelson out.